Yeah, cool. All right, so everybody, really nice to meet you. My name's Brad Stein. I'm a Global VP of Solutions Consulting at PolyAI. And here I've got Brian.
Yeah, Brian Jepson. I'm the Director of Contact Centers for Landry's, which includes Golden Nugget, Landry's Restaurants, Golden Nugget Hotels and Casinos.
Cool. Yeah, so I thought there were some interesting questions before. So a big thing that we've been doing and playing around with is that automation isn't just about cost savings. You can actually drive a lot of revenue with it because in a lot of situations, what you tend to find is that people don't have the capacity to answer every single call. When we were first talking to Brian, I think you were missing what, 30 or 40% of your calls?
Yeah, we after the pandemic, so pandemic happened. We're in the hospitality business. Everything shut down. All the casinos shut down. All the restaurants shut down for 3 months. And so when it came back, we just assumed everybody would come back to work and people would slowly want to go back to the restaurants or the casinos, and that wasn't the case. Everybody did. And I couldn't get all my people back, plus it was challenge hiring. So yeah, we were struggling with about 40% abandons.
Yeah, no, and so we work a lot with hospitality companies where we see this across the board. And in a sales situation, sure, if you don't pick up the phone, you have an online channel. They might walk in. They've very rare in a hotel kind of case. They might go online. But there's always a certain percentage of callers that don't. And so what we actually took Golden Nugget on was kind of a journey where we started off very small. Like conversational AI can be damn scary. A lot of people have got their fingers burnt with this type of tech in the past. Voice is a very, very, very hard channel. That's why you don't see it done, let's say, in the industry so commonly. But what we did is we started with a very small solution and then kind of rolled that out in kind of a continuous improvement cycle, which we kind of call it, into the point where we actually have a full reservation phone call, where we think that the person doesn't even know it's a virtual agent. It's pretty incredible. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges today, and then we're also going to talk through some examples. We have some live call recordings today, which will show you an example, and if you guys have any questions as we go along, feel free to jump in. Cool. Yeah, so how many people, by show of hands maybe, who's been to Gold Nugget? Yeah? Blackjack tables, yeah, roulette, craps. So I think everybody kind of knows what Gold Nugget is, but it's actually owned by Landry, so maybe, Brian, if you just want to give it a little bit of a brief background about Landry's and what you do there.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Landry's Restaurants, we went on over 600 restaurants. Many of you may know them as the Mortons, the Mastros, McCormick and Schmick's, the Landry, Saltgrass Steakhouse, a lot of those restaurants, Bubba Gump's, Joe's Crab Shack, so a lot, places you've been to. But in addition to the Golden Nuggets, we have 5 Golden Nugget properties, and of course my owner also owns the Houston Rockets, so.
Lots of phone calls coming in. So the problem is with the hospitality situations, you have a lot of issues, a lot of challenges within the market space. Some of the things that we often see is dramatic seasonal spikes. So I'm from the UK. Well, I don't sound like I'm from the UK, but I live there now. But every payday we get paid monthly instead of every 2 weeks. Last Friday of every month, people are going out partying, and so they have a heck of a lot of inbound phone calls for reservations. But it's very similar with casinos and events like that. You guys have seasonal offers. You have marketing events that go out. You want to talk maybe a little bit about that and how that drives contact?
Yeah. So. Seasonality, especially summertime, is very busy for our casinos, several of our casinos that are in resort areas. As I mentioned, when the pandemic came back, we ended up taking an extra 40,000 calls from our Las Vegas property that they were handled on property that we were supposed to handle now. And I couldn't staff for them. So we saw spikes in volumes. I was abandoning. These were very simple type calls. These were, I just need to can you transfer me to housekeeping? Can you transfer me to, to the restaurant, to, Joe Smith, whoever, or what time is check-in? Is your pool open? Where is parking? Do you have pets? A lot of those types of questions were just very simple questions. But what it was doing is it was impacting our ability to answer the revenue-producing calls. People wanted to book reservations, and so, as I mentioned, I was abandoning 40% of those calls, and at that point, I went to my CFO and I calculated, hey, this is the potential revenue we're missing because we can't answer calls. So it was a horrible guest experience, waiting, 40-plus minutes, abandoning 40% of our calls. It was tough.
Yeah, and I mean, and we see this across the industry. When we first started speaking with Brian, it's impossible to hire people right now. You have to do 20 interviews to maybe get 3 good people, and then you have a high percentage chance of that they're going to churn in a little while as well. So one of the big things a virtual agent can do, imagine replicating your best agent on their best day 24/7, 365. They're never hungover, they're never sick, and they're kind of always there. And from a revenue generating perspective as well, if you think about reservations, especially in, let's say, a hotel casino, there's a lot of upsell opportunities. You can sell additional buffet tickets, you can sell pool passes, events to a particular, let's say, concert. And if I'm having a bad day and I'm a live person in the contact center, I just want to get off the phone. I don't want to start talking about and really getting somebody excited about maybe a special event like an anniversary. Do you want a pool room? Do you want the upgraded tower? And so the virtual agent can, over time, figure out what is the most likely somebody is in terms of going to upsell on a particular event. So when we have access to things like the back end, CRM, the LMS booking system, anything to do with the property site, we can actually see the history of what these people are doing and then recommend them the best offers for that particular situation to actually improve, let's say, cross-sell, upsell. And so one of the big things I thought was really interesting when we started talking with Brian is that he doesn't view the contact center as a cost center. He views it as an actual revenue generating center.
Right, and that's where it's more, my issue was all about customer experience. It wasn't necessarily about saving the money or anything else. I just wanted to answer the phone calls and give a better customer experience. And I wanted people to be able to interact with it too, right? I wanted I didn't want it to sound like a robot. I didn't want somebody, we've all been in the hell of the back and forth. So I said, I want to make it easy for them to speak to an agent if they want to speak to an agent. But most people just want a simple task completed and done. I want to make it easy for people to do business with me. So the things that are simple, we were able to handle to allow us to focus on driving more revenue with our experienced agents.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was really the biggest requirement is it's got to sound human. It has to sound completely real, otherwise my customers are not going to interact with it because voice AI gets a very, very bad rep within the industry. And so some of the things that we'll show you today will be pretty cool. But, again, going past, our tagline here at PolyAI is very much like superhuman customer experience because the other piece about it, if you think about all the complexities within a hotel, restaurant, or any kind of hospitality situation, or even in a large business, you hire somebody, you train them, they might not have the answers to hand. They might have to look it up. I mean, one of my favorite things I hear in the contact center is, hey, let me Google it for you. Well, the virtual agent is 100% proficient at everything that it does. It can pull out the best answer when you want it, 24/7, 365, and actually, in some cases, deliver a much better experience than a live person. Really a big piece about it as well is reducing the handle times. I know a lot of your agents, spending a lot of time kind of chit-chatting.
Right. And, we found a lot of things with the handle time because a lot of our overall handle time, when we took the easy, simple calls away, right, that left some more complex. So actually, people think that, well, you're gonna save time on some of this. Actually, we saw our handle time go up, but it was spending more time on the revenue producing calls and less time on the others. So while it reduced the number of calls that we had to handle, it was. Well,
they're providing what they should be doing, better customer experience for the more complex issues.
Exactly.
And cool. So what this really did is, Brian had a really good vision. When we first started talking, he's like, I just want to be able to talk to Alexa and be able to book a hotel room. I'm like, okay, we have to start small. We have to pick a particular solution and get it in. So one of the big things that we do is that we take off a very small percentage of calls. We'll pick one location or two or a certain segment of the business. We'll say, well, let's try it, and we'll build this thing very quickly for you. So I think we built this from the time when we kicked off the project. It was about 30 days. So one of the big things that we bring to the table is a pre-trained machine learning model, which has been pre-trained on billions of conversations. And so what it enabled us to do, because a big thing about Gold Nugget is that there was zero tag data, no real call recordings or anything like that we could tap into. We just sat down with some of your agents. And then we went and built the solution. But do you want to talk about your experience with that? I know you have a good story about this.
Yeah. So, as we evaluated a lot of different vendors and suppliers out there, I noticed that a lot of the recordings, a lot of the voice that I was getting was the same, right? And it sounded like a robot, and I didn't want it to sound like a robot. And so when they did a demo and Poly did a demo for us, we did a demo for our Saltgrass Steakhouse to be able to take reservations, and not reservations, but to-go orders. And the demo was, they're in the UK, so they did a demo, and the girl was, it was a British voice, very, very beautiful. I love British voices, but it didn't really resonate with what I felt was a Texas Saltgrass Steakhouse customer, right? So I said, so hey, can you do something more Texan, you know? And so next day they came back with the demo, and the first thing it answers is, howdy, thank you for calling Saltgrass Steakhouse. And I said, okay, these guys get it, right? And because that was my thing, is I wanted it to feel interactive and conversational and talk and not sound like a robot, that they were talking to the people. And I think you'll hear we have some examples.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah,
so we worked out a middle solution.
And so what I told them was, I said, look, here's 10 recordings of my best agent. I said, can you make it sound like this? And they got a voice that sounds exactly like my best agent. And so now all of my customers get that same experience. A lot of them don't even know they're talking to a voice assistant. So
yeah, and so some of the things that we actually did, day one after getting the solution, we'll show you what the call recordings sound like just after this. But we were able to fully automate 87% of calls. And the reason why I say fully automate, because that was actual resolution. We do a lot of analytics in the background to actually check to see, if we have repeat callers, are they calling back about the same intent? But, people are asking simple questions, so give them a simple answer. And that's a big thing about what we do as well, is we focus very much on a strategy of engagement. And engagement means that you actually engage the caller in a real-life conversation. You let them ask the question how they want it, when they want it, and the phrases that they would like to use. You don't focus on containing it, forcing them down a force-fed conversation, and just basically hanging up on them in the end. That tends to what happens in the IVR. But the biggest thing, I think we just answered 100% of calls 24/7, 365. In this case, hospitality is about providing a very warm, welcoming experience. When you don't answer the phone calls, it's a very bad look for the business.
Right.
Cool. So we'll talk just about the timeline quickly, and then we'll get to the calls. I know we only have about 10 minutes left. So what we did, it's very much an iterative, staged type of deployment. So we let you guys kind of dip the toe in the conversational AI realm. We show you it working, and then we basically use our intent modeling engine to decide what call intents to go after next. So we can actually listen in a lot of calls, and we can see what customers are saying. We use that data to, number one, improve the virtual agent over a period of time. So we hit about 80% out of the box, and then moved that up to 87, and then we kind of hit like a wall in terms of going further. So then we start looking at different other types of, let's say, call types. So we looked at first partial reservations, because reservations is a highly complex call type. There's lots of different back office integrations, lots of questions people can ask about offers, comps, discounts. So what we wanted to do is make sure that we are fully prepared to go into that model first. So we actually said, okay, well, let's do partial reservations, where we just collect a couple of pieces of information from the customer, and we pass that off to the desk. So when the agent actually got the call, it's like, oh, Mr. Stein, so you want to come into the Gold Nugget Las Vegas for 2 people on Friday. You're going to bring a kid, and I think a tiger or something like that was one of the intents, but things like that. But now we're actually at a point over a couple of months, it wasn't without its integration pains, where we're actually doing full reservations. So I think with that in mind, what we'll actually do is kind of show you a couple of examples. And these are not applications that are hidden in some small part of the contact center where you say, oh yeah, look, we're doing this. People are dialing in, they're expecting to speak with a virtual agent. These are main numbers. So what I would actually encourage you guys, take a picture, dial these things, see if you can break it. That's one of my favorite things to say. This stuff actually does work. Throw out some real curveballs. Try to go for something out of The Hangover. We've got a couple of Easter eggs in there too. But this is an example of what it sounds like.
Hi, thanks for calling Golden Nugget Las Vegas. What can I do for you today?
Hi, I'm coming for an event for, let's see, Career Compass, April 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I'm hoping to. What is the situation with, I have a Sprinter van that I'll probably stay in, and I want to know if you guys have that type of parking where I can stay in my van, kind of like an RV parking.
We have some open parking for oversized vehicles on Main and East Carson Avenue, behind our main self-park garage.
Simple answer to a complex intent. A lot of systems would have picked up, hey, I want to come stay. I think I'm coming for this date, that date. It would have jumped into a typical reservation flow. A big thing about what we're able to do is extract the context of the caller and take those long rambling intents, just as somebody would speak, and provide a right response. And the guy just hung up afterwards. He didn't need any more information, but in some cases, we can send an SMS with the location of the like a Google Maps link. What we're looking to do next is actually integrate this in the app as well, so you can do push notifications, so you really get towards that kind of omni-channel type of strategy. I think I heard the other speaker, a big common theme is like it's very important to start with voice, because voice is a very unique design. It's very hard to take a digital conversation on like a text or digital or web chat, whatever it might be, and move that to voice. You can take voice and you can do whatever you want with it. So this is really scratching the surface, and that's kind of what we started off with. Now that we've done full reservations and we've done the integrations into everything, what we're looking to do next is really the omni-channel strategy. Maybe, right. Brian, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Obviously, what we've talked about is taking what we've built in voice, taking the voice to text now and putting it on our web chat, right? So it's just the exact same person. There's a lot of complexity with these reservations because we have offers. You have to find the player. You have to find what offer they have. We have to see if that offer is available in our reservation booking system. So there's a lot of different applications. And so to be able to go online and be able to do it online and book their stuff online, just self-service, again, make it easy, make it effortless for our customers to do business with us, the easiest possible. They don't want to have to talk to somebody. They just want a room. And so how's the easiest way to get a room?
Exactly. Well, here's the grand finale. This is full reservations. I think it's one of the best I've heard. When I first heard it, I was actually shocked. So we'll see what you guys think.
Golden Nugget Lake Charles, how can I help?
Volume on that.
Hi. Yes, I'd like to try and book a room. I have some comp nights. If y'all have one available on September 6th.
Sure, let me take a few details to see what deals we have. Do you have a player's card with us?
Yes.
If you have it on you, could you type in your 14-digit card or account number into the phone keypad and press pound or read it out loud?
Okay, just 1 second. Let me get it. Give me 1 minute to get it. Okay, let's see.
Sure. Just let me know whenever you're ready.
So the virtual agent is now waiting for her to actually get the details.
I'm ready.
I'm going to have to collect your 14-digit card or account number to find the best offers for you. So if you could please just type that into the phone keypad or read it out loud.
31300211058.
Just give me 1 sec while I look that up.
Thank you.
Checking the back office.
What's your date of birth?
10/5/58.
Great. I can see your account here. And how many nights are you planning on staying for?
1.
So I think it also remembered.
Okay.
She said the date.
And how many people are coming?
2.
Alrighty. I'm just going to make a note of that now. Okay. I've got you down for one night from Tuesday, the 6th of September to Wednesday, the 7th of September for 2 people. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Let's take a look at what offers we have. Okay, I can see here that you have an offer for a free stay, either 1 or 2 consecutive nights. Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. Now just give me 1 sec and I'll have a look at what rooms we have available.
So activating the offer, now checking.
Okay, so for your comped room, we've got a Gold Tower Deluxe King with a balcony. For a one-night stay, that'll be completely free of charge. Should I go ahead with the booking?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Alrighty. Just to confirm, you're checking into the Golden Nugget Lake Charles on Tuesday, the 6th of September, and checking out on Wednesday, the 7th of September. That's for one night. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, just to let you know, we have a 48-hour cancellation policy. If you cancel or change your reservation after 4 p.m. 2 days prior to check-in or don't show, you'll be charged a $100 fee. Are we still good to go ahead?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to have to collect your phone number so I can send you confirmation. Are you calling from a cell phone?
Yes.
Alrighty, let me just put your reservation under this number. Perfect. Before I book you in, we're going to have to take your credit card details through a secure line to hold the reservation. The name on the credit card has to match the name on your 24K account. Well, let me transfer you over now. If you could please stay on the line. Otherwise, your booking won't be confirmed. It'll just be a moment.
So PCI payment, and then the call comes
Okay,
back.
bear with me one sec, and I'll check that's gone through. Okay, that's confirmed. Thanks for calling, and see you soon. Bye.
Cool. So long call recording.
I don't think this lady knew at all she was talking to a virtual assistant, which was great. I just wanted a conversational, and I think that was the key to what we did here. But that was, I mean, the good part about it is I know every time it's going to quote the cancellation policy, so nobody can say I didn't get a cancellation policy. I know I can tell it exactly, make sure that every single time it does these things, in which I have a hard enough time with my regular agents to make sure that they cover everything. So we just train it one time, and I never have to train it again. Training costs in the call center business, I've been doing this for 35 years, and training costs are one of our biggest costs in the call centers. And not having to retrain that, if it takes a certain percentage of those calls, that's that many people I don't have to hire it again, right? And that's, call centers have 100% turnover a year, but it's not turning over the whole staff, it's turning over 25, 30% of your staff 3 or 4 times. So if we can resolve that piece, that dramatically reduces my training costs, and also just training at one time and not having to retrain. It's awesome.
And the real power about this as well, so the way that we focus our tuning is that we'll actually aggregate the places in the conversation where people fall out. So we focus our training on those particular points. And it's, surely sometimes it's machine learning issues, sometimes it's design, but sometimes it's process. And so a lot of our customers, what we actually turn around and say, the business process here is not right. Can we reduce the amount of speech that we have? Can we reduce the text? Do we have to say this? And so it's very much, let's say, a consultative approach to make sure that this thing gets fully optimized. So in the end, you make it frictionless for your customers and people to make reservations.
Right, we've done that. I mean, that's going from there into analytics, right? We have everything recorded. We start listening. What are my customers saying? How are they doing? Sentiment analysis on, are they happy with this process? So that's, it's been great. I mean, these guys have been, I will tell you, I know you just got a couple seconds here, but anything I've asked them to do, I've had a vision. I don't know the technical stuff. I don't know what an API is. I don't know all that SIP stuff.
You're learning.
But everything I ask them to do, my vision, this is what I want to do. Never once did they say, no, we don't do that or we can't do that. It was all about, let's figure out how to make it happen. And they've run with us and made it happen. And so it's been awesome.
Cool. You've been a great customer. Well, if you guys are interested about hearing more, thanks for taking the time today. We're also on tomorrow, I believe. Is that tomorrow or later today? But yeah, stop by the booth and we can have a chat. Thanks, guys.
Very good.